have come here to find something. Something we have both desired for a long time. Your presence in this place means you are willing to do what I ask of you. If you follow my requests, then I will take you to what it is you desire.
Solysium. It's an amalgam of isolation, asylum, and the concept of Elysian fields. It's a hard to describe feeling of trapping yourself in a world of torment, in a state where you have absolutely nothing to fear, but the fear still exists. I and a lot of people I know find themselves in this existence. Sometimes we trap ourselves in these headspaces that feel inescapable. In a world that is so uncaring to change and the singular person, it feels good to be as equally uncaring to the world. We rationalize the irrational, constantly finding ourselves in a cycle of comfort and callousness. You feel alone? Well, find a partner, but that partner is uninterested. Feel alone without a partner? Find a friend. But your friends are busy. You're alone. Work on yourself. And you will for a bit, but consistently becoming a better person is the hardest thing in the world. And sometimes it can feel impossible. But it's not. It's not impossible to become a better person. To change, or to redeem yourself, or to find comfort in who you are. Acceptance can often be misconstrued as complicity in your nature, and they're not the same, but too much acceptance can be an addiction of its own, and it's our job to find what works to get to the next day, to see that sunrise again. Recently, I've found myself in a spiral of fear that nothing will ever change, or that I'll always be perceived in the same way forever. But realistically, that change starts with me. I've always known this, but it was shown to me through a very unexpected place. Before we continue, I just want to give a content warning for topics like self-harm, substance abuse, depression, and suicidal ideation. There's also going to be a major spoiler warning for the two games I'm going to be talking about, Disco Elysium and Total Chaos. Total Chaos is a game where you play as a man named Tyler, who for some reason finds himself stranded upon the place he once called home, a mining colony on an island called Fort Oasis. As he awakes, a voice on the radio calls to him, lets him know that he understands that there is some sort of corruption destroying this place. And the voice on the radio calls to him saying that if he comes to the center of the island, the deepest part of the mines, they can destroy the corruption. But as he continues on his adventure through this island, the place that he once called home, he begins to notice the reflections of his own life within the encounters he faces. He begins to see that all of the enemies around him and everything that he hates around him are all just reflections of his own life, of his own past. Tyler is a man who is dying. He's contracted stage 3 lung cancer. It's slowly killing him, and he only finds ways to comfort himself in antidepressants and alcohol. His girlfriend at the time, Lita, tries to help him, tries to comfort him, and he only pushes her away. His only friend Ryan tries to be there for him when Lita eventually leaves, and all Tyler can do is lash out. And in a final justification to take his own life, he has created this delusion of needing to save Fort Oasis so that he may ultimately justify his own suicide. With the trending notion of literally me characters and the hyper-masculine heroes of modern-day storytelling, Tyler stands out as a self-perpetuated antagonist. He sees himself as less than others, which leads him to believe that others see him the same way. He pushes himself into deeper depressions and bouts of isolation, which only perpetuates his negative headspace, which then restarts his cycle of torment. Tyler's fate is something of true tragedy. It's not something that hasn't been done before, but the unique ability to immerse yourself in his headspace and his world is completely paradigm shifting. But what if that pain and isolation isn't just internalized? Sure, Tyler abused himself through copious drug and alcohol abuse, but the literal isolation and the severance of connections meant he only internalized the hatred. Disco Elysium is a game where you play as a detective named Harrier Dubois in a fictionalized France. You are tasked with investigating the corpse of a man hanged in an alleyway of a hotel. It's apparent that he's been lynched and strung up for all passerbys to see. And as you delve deeper into the mystery of this murder, you begin to uncover the secrets of a corporate conspiracy and discover the remnants of a sentimental political uprising. Harrier Dubois, or Harry for simplicity's sake, is another recent example I experienced of someone whose self-loathing and destructive tendencies outwardly ruined his life and others without malicious or even deliberate intent. Before the events of the game even start, he drowns himself out in a bender and absolutely trashes the hotel room he finds himself in. The pressure he places on the staff and the guests even forces one of the staff members to quit shortly after. He recovers and awakens with amnesia, and he finds that everyone hates him from the get-go for his role as a detective, and even his coworkers, while they respect him for his supposed efficiency, ridicule and bully him for his personal shortcomings. Although it's not entirely undeserved, Harry does slowly begin to recover his memory, revealing that he was once in love and engaged, but his cycle of self-deprecation and the functions of his field of work caused her to leave, and only worsen his cycle. Tyler and Harry are victims of their own self-loathing, and their own cyclical mental declines are only worsened by those who they hurt because of their negativity. But what if it didn't have to be this way? What if they choose to get better? Is there redemption for an irredeemable, miserable sap that doesn't even want help from others? Both games actually tackle these questions in their own ways. For Harry, your choices in the game can lead you down a path of either belligerence and reveling in your misery to the point where you drag everyone down with you. I hadn't mentioned him much before, but your partner, Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi, is a detective of a different precinct and acts as a neutral medium to Harry's chaos and inner turmoil. Regardless of his choices, Kim's subtle nuances support Harry and will constantly attempt to set him on the right track, either with sternness and gentle reprimand or kindness and encouragement when he does the right thing. However, Harry can become a better man and earn Kim's approval. As a neutral figure, by the time he's met with those who disdain Harry's past, he will support him in his new persona as a reformed man who's simply haunted by his past. Tyler, on the other hand, can choose to make his decisions in a subtler way. Each enemy in the game represents a different aspect of Tyler's trauma loop, leaving key aspects of his life alive, like his connection with his girlfriend Lita, his friendship with Ryan, and seeking help from his doctor who can lead him down a better path, a path of self-help. It gives him a desire to be better. The Tyler in his mind finally gives way as he admits to himself that he was wrong. Tyler and Harry aren't spectacular or even notable people, but what makes them so special? It's the idea that they are normal people, like you or me. They can choose to overcome their adversities and self-hatred for a better life. But why does any of this matter? In the neutral and true ending of Total Chaos, Tyler ultimately does see through his suicide. He hangs himself as his delusion breaks for even just a second, revealing the beauty of everything around him before he completely ends it. He's only found 8 years later after his body is nearly fully decomposed. And considering the nature of the difficulty of doing the right thing, Tyler will almost always choose the easier answer of ending it all, rather than doing what he must to get better. So I asked you again, why does any of it matter? Every year, nearly 600,000 men take their lives. That's 1,400 per day, that's 60 per hour, 1 per minute. Suicide is the third leading cause of death in the world among men between the ages of 15 and 29. This month is Men's Mental Health Month, and just as equally, it's Pride Month. And as a bisexual man, it pains me to see people from both of my identities isolate and alienate each other from the love that everyone desires. We're all people. We all deserve a chance, an opportunity to do good in this world. One of my closest friends once told me very drunkenly that I was his Kim Kitsuragi. And at a point in my life where I never personally felt more alone, it felt good to have a purpose, even a small one. Men do tend to persecute the LGBTQ community the most, there's no doubt about it. And the community likewise has every right to hold anger and scorn, but if we want them to understand, you can't meet a fist with another. It has to be met with an open hand. I love everyone that I come across in my life. I try to find something to love, at least. Everyone has something redeeming within them, somewhere deep down. And if you feel like you're stuck in this constant cycle of isolation, being stuck in complacency and a lack of drive or hope or love, you can fall on friends or family, or especially professional help. It's not weak to get help, but it is going to make you weaker to hurt yourself in the pursuit to admit that you're not feeling weak. We all have moments of weakness, and sometimes those moments become large parts of our lives. But it doesn't have to be. You're not alone. You're never alone. My grandmother once said that if life wasn't worth living, we wouldn't be given the ability to love. And to add my own words to describe how this has changed me, life isn't just a journey. It doesn't have an end. And even if you get to its end, you're not the same person you were when you started it. I love you. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching the video.
Hi, Leanne Mills here. Your most recent message was, I'm worried about isolation with you. You're staying inside, not getting out of the house, and that can be worrisome. It gets to be kind of like its own addiction. If you can, and it doesn't need to take up all your day, just make a point to go outside and take a walk. I know that keeping to yourself in your house seems safe, but it ends up limiting your scope. You can just get too used to it. Just realize that outside the door, there are people who do care for you. I hope that you might call me for another session. I think it would be worth it. There's really only so much I can do from here, and we were really doing quite well. I know you have a lot on your mind. That's normal. Your thoughts don't define you. It would be great if we had time for a session. We had a process that seemed like a fine baseline for you, and that would be nice to kind of have as a goal. Remember, you're not trapped by your thoughts. You just have to let them pass. I hope you call me. Take care of yourself.